Yeah, thanks everyone. Nice warm welcome. So I want to talk about how, again, like everyone else, how Buddhism's broken into my life. And I want to do that in 3 stages. So I'm going to talk about innocence for the first part of my life, and then a nice, brightly named loneliness stage for the past few years. And then for the past few months, I'm going to talk about connection. So a little bit of context. I'm 19. I'm from Gateshead, which is just next to Newcastle in the northeast. I moved to London last year. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I come from a really loving household. I've got a brother who I really look up to, who's really lovely. I've got a mum who's just all loving. She's just the best person in the world. My grandma as well is lovely. But I had quite a difficult relationship with my dad. Right since I was born, it was very difficult. So yeah, innocence. As a child, I was very busy. I did a lot all the time, whether it was in school, out of school, extracurricular activities. I did karate since I was 5. But hopefully none of you have to find out more about that. Music lessons, drama school on the weekend. I had no breathing space really now I think about it. But I think with lots of difficulty at home and at school as well, I was bullied quite a lot. I never sort of found time to think or absorb, not even think, because I don't really think most children think about that, but just absorb what was going on in my life from a very, very young age. Yeah, so like I say, did a lot, and I think I was always searching for other things. I was raised as a Catholic, as a Roman Catholic. I was an altar server, so I was quite deeply involved in the church. Going to church most Sundays, carrying the cross, washing the priest's hands, a lot of ritual, which I quite enjoy now as well. It was a very busy childhood, and I didn't have a lot of breathing space up until about secondary school. And then when I went to secondary school, I still found it a bit difficult at the start. I was still bullied quite a bit, but then as I got older, towards 16. I sort of flourished, I did flourish, I think. Get big head of that. I got a really nice group of friends. I was doing well studiously, getting pretty good grades. A lot of the teachers liked me. I was head boy in 6th form, which I thought I was really cool for. I was given quite a bit of responsibility with that. I did some public speaking. And met some people, and I thought I was great. I thought, I was like, look, I've got loads of nice friends. I'm doing pretty well academically. I'm probably set up to go to a good university, just because of the way it worked. But then coronavirus. Don't know if you've heard of it. That sort of struck. The last time I was at school was in March 2020, and I remember being in a German lesson actually, in my teacher just going through all of the syllabus as if we had exams in 2 months, and we all just sat there and went, you did hear the news this morning that there aren't any exams. and she just went a bit pale, and it was a very strange time. So I was very excited then. I was very excited at the fact of having no exams, and then reality sort of kicked in when I realised I can't do anything I've worked for. I was this COVID A-levels, where I didn't do my exams. I was given grades which I personally at the time, because of the way it worked, I didn't deserve those grades. They were downgraded by 3 grades altogether, I think. by what my teachers had predicted I would get, by some magic spreadsheet or something. So yeah, it was very disappointing. I remember results day being, I was, you know, in tears because I thought I was moving to London and I thought I was going to have a great life, and then it sort of like shook me. But I did end up coming to London. I'm a law student at King's College London, at least for now. And yeah, I thought I had it in the bag again. You know, I think I sort of built up these senses of, oh, you know, well, I've got this, so that means I'm set. That means I'm set, you know, for the next few months, or even, you know, for the next few years. When I got to London, I was in my accommodation building by myself for a month. And then someone moved in, and two people moved in, but I didn't really sort of have any contact with them. So I was living in an accommodation block on my corridor that had five rooms. 3 of them were occupied, and I just sort of might have nodded at my flatmates in the corridor, and that was it. And then I got COVID in last October. And you know, I wasn't seriously medically affected. You know, I was never in hospital or anything, but it had a massive effect on me. I had a lot of fatigue. I lost my sense of taste and smell, which, when you're living in 4 walls, you don't know anyone in the largest city in the country, and you know, you can't even smell the food that you've made for yourself. It was really traumatizing, and I sort of went into a really, really depressive state. A really depressive state. I remember my accommodation had this, one wall was like this really, really bright blue, sort of like the masks that you're wearing. It's like really, really like lurid, like awful, like it sort of hurt to look at. And I'd like roll out of bed to my desk, open my laptop, pretend to do uni work, and then just like have this blue wall. And that went on for like months, and it was just awful. I was really sad. You know, I didn't, at the height of my COVID, I didn't see people for up to 4 days at a time, I think, was the longest I went without seeing a person. And when you're 18, you've just moved to London, I think it's the last thing that you want. So yeah, it was extremely difficult. Yeah, and I was very, very sad. And then I knew about meditation before. As I say, I've got quite an interest in religion and other things. So yeah, I tried doing some meditation myself, you know, headspace, all that sort of like cool mindfulness things that you read about on Instagram. And then realised it's just I was really sort of detached from it. You know, I sort of enjoyed it, and I was like, oh yeah, I feel relaxed. But it never was anything more than that. And so I tried to do some Zazen, which doing Zazen, like, you know, you face a wall, you look down, you sit in lotus position. In doing that when you're in a student accommodation block by yourself and you haven't seen anyone in like 2 weeks, it's really not very healthy again. So I don't think that particularly helped. So then on the last day of my first year exams, I went to an afternoon, a lunchtime meditation at the LVC. This was in May of this year, actually. So yeah, I am sort of a bit of a baby in the LVC sphere. But yeah, and I just remember coming out and thinking that was the longest time I sat without, you know, being distracted, without doing anything, and actually enjoying myself. I didn't particularly have any massive insights the first time I went to the LBC. It wasn't like, you know, this big spirit came above us, but I just thought it was really pleasant. And a pleasant experience at that time was really few and far between. So I bought, actually on my first visit to the LBC, I bought Life with Full Attention by Maitri Bandhu. And then over summer I moved to Northumberland. I was working on my favourite place in the world. It's called Lindisfarne Island in Northumberland. I worked there, read life with full attention, did a lot of online meditations with the LBC, watched lots of live streamed YouTube events, and sort of fell in love with it because even though I wasn't in London at the LBC, I just had such a sense of Sangha. I just really felt connected. You know, being on Zoom, even with my camera off because I was really shy. Like, I was just so pleased that there were people on the other side of it. Yeah, it was really great. So then I moved back down to London in September to do my second year of university and did the meditation challenge, the sub 25 meditation challenge, which is 3 weeks of morning meditations and every Friday night at the LBC. So yeah, it was this weekly commitment. It was this commitment that I had made to go and meet people and learn more about Buddhism, because I was a bit more on the mindfulness side. I remember I was like, which book should I get? Because, you know, I'm totally new. This was on my first visit. And someone on reception was like, oh, well, these two are good for beginners. This one's more about Buddhism. This one's more about mindfulness. And I was like, that one, please, the mindfulness one. I sort of did have a bit of an aversion to practicing a religion, even though I was interested in it. So yeah, and then after that, I booked my first retreat, the sub 25 retreat at Vajrasana, which sort of really cemented the love that I think that was growing for the LBC. I remember on the Saturday night after the puja, just the energy and the silence just sort of like struck something really deep within us that I think I was trying to gain even from doing karate 3 times a week when I was, you know, like 5 or 6 years old. So yeah, and then I've been coming along ever since. I can't seem to get rid of us. I'm on the Wednesday night team now, and you know, I've been on this retreat team, and it's just been so. I said at the start, it was like I want to receive, but I also want to give, and I just feel like I've been given so much more than anything that I could have given. So yeah, it's been amazing, and so I suppose that is how Buddhism has broken into my life. But I know I've got so much more. I've got so much more life for Buddhism to break into. So.